Record. Okay. Okay, so if you are here or if you're one of the 80 million people who asked for the recording and you're watching the recording, welcome. My name is Jessica Tilton. I am your Miss Illinois. I will be going to Miss America this year. And if you have ever thought about being a part of the Miss America organization or opportunity, I'm going to show you how to do it and how I did it. So to start, is Miss America right for you? What even is Miss America? So Miss America is a tool used to empower women, and they help define skills that are utilized in job interviews. What I used to get into med school, the first time I applied to med school, I was rejected to 22 schools. And then I joined the Miss America opportunity and I networked and I built my interview skills. And that not only led me to being Miss Illinois after a year and a half of being with the opportunity, but I also was accepted into 7 medical schools, including my top two. So I was super excited about that. And in Miss America, I attribute all my interview skills to. So if you're interested in growing yourself for personal development, or if you're really wanting to just branch out and meet new people, Miss America is definitely for you. And there is some confusion of how is Miss America different from Miss USA? I thought they were the same. What the heck is up with that? So Miss America is the oldest pageant, which is now referred to as a scholarship competition. And Miss USA was founded off of the notion of Miss America. Miss USA, there is currently no age limit. They just changed that. So it used to be the age limit of 28. Now anyone can compete at any age. Miss USA is also more of a beauty type pageant, whereas Miss America is considered to be a scholarship competition. So you're competing for in-kind as well as cash scholarships to different universities or to be used across different universities and for books, tuition, whatever it is that applies to your education. The 5 pillars that kind of embody Miss America. This is something that I had to figure out what each meant along the way. So, or they're all S's. So the first is scholarship. Scholarship is obviously education. You could even start a different scholarship. Rhiannon, who's on here, I'm gonna pull her out. She actually started one. She's really cool. She's one of BFFs. Scholarship is also your educational endeavors. So if you're pursuing a higher degree, if you're thinking about pursuing a higher degree, if you're, maybe just nervous about going into college, if you're in the teen program, joining Miss America to earn the scholarship dollars really helps. Service aspect, that's going to come from your community service initiative. So when you join the Miss America organization, you pick a platform that you're passionate about. Also, as a side note, if you see me looking up here, I've got dual screen. So PowerPoint's up here, you guys are here. But you pick a community service initiative, your CSI. It's a platform you're really passionate about, you want to serve the community with. Mine is organ donation because that's really near and dear to my heart. And it saved my family 3 times. So I advocate, I go out to the community, I go talk with dialysis patients, which that's when you have end-stage kidney failure and your kidneys no longer work. I go and I advocate on Capitol Hill. But I didn't start out doing that. I started out just going to my local community and talking about organ donation. And it's a stepping stone that Miss America has allowed me to get to where I am today. There's also sisterhood, and I didn't join a sorority in college. And I'm not someone who loves being around, the sorority life. That's not for me. So that's not what this is when you see sisterhood. Sisterhood is what you gain through the connections and the relations of the Miss America opportunity. And it's how I met Rhiannon. She is truly one of my best friends because of Miss America. Style. Before Miss America, I've always been into fashion. I'm a fashion designer myself, but I never really was outwardly fashionable. I was always in sweats because I was in college most of the time. And for me, being a part of the Miss America organization really pushed me to expand my own closet and to be more outward with my own style and less afraid of what others think. Because at the end of the day, if you're having fun with someone, why should you even care if someone's judging you for having fun, right? And then success. So that's the last pillar that Miss America is kind of founded on. And the success pillar isn't outward like, oh my gosh, I got 100 on an exam. It's I was able to help change a life. I was able to impact someone in my community. I was able to help push forward a new law, a new policy. I was able to convince someone that hey, my platform actually is really important. So success looks different, and all these 5 pillars are super important and prominent in the Miss America organization. So if you're really excited about one or all of them, I definitely encourage you tonight to pay a little more attention to the rest of this. Um, how do you become Miss America? What is the goal? How do you even start? So we are starting here tonight by talking about the local level, the local competition. This is where everyone starts in the Miss America opportunity. So you start on a local stage. So what is local competition? This could be like a regional competition. If you've ever heard of like a county fair pageant or something like that, kind of picture that in nature, small scale. So it's a small stage compared to what you're doing at state or at the national level. You're competing in all the same categories, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So for me, my first ever one I competed in was Miss Peoria Metro, and this was right down the street from my house, actually. And you win a local competition, and then you can advance to state. So my state was Miss Illinois, and well, now they actually put in a different kind of, I don't want to say wording, but route for you to get to the state level. And that's when you can go at large. So instead of going and winning a local competition, you can just say, hey, I want to go to Miss Illinois, but I don't want to do a local first. You can pay a pretty big fee, and then you can go straight into state. And they just assign you a local title. So my first local title is Miss Central Illinois, and if I just wanted to go to state, I could kind of pick where I wanted. So I could have said, hey, I'm from Tazewell County. There's not a Tazewell County local competition. Can I be Miss Tazewell County? And then go to state. It kind of works like that. They just assign you a title. I will say, if you're interested, I would push towards doing a local competition, which we'll get into how to get to those, where they are, all that. Because when you do a local competition and you win that title, you do typically get a cash scholarship. Cash scholarship. Wow, it's been a long day. And with that, you have a whole team behind you that's able to help you prep for state, look at dresses with you, help you with your walk, your talent, your interview skills, your social media, going out to the community. They give you events to do. You know, you have a lot of fun with your local team. So I highly recommend doing that rather than going at large. But if at large is for you, they're both great options. And then from there, you would advance to your state and then hopefully compete for Miss America. So getting into it, how do you even apply? What qualifies you, right? The first thing is age. So there's 2 different age divisions, and they just updated this. So there's Miss America, and then some people refer to it as Miss Teen, but it's Miss America and Miss America's Teen. So the Miss category, you have to be born between the years of 1996 and 2006, and the teen is between 2006 and 2010. You can see there's some overlap here, 2006. So actually, if you're born in that year, you get to pick if you want to be a teen or a miss. If I were you and you're in that border, I would pick teen. And I'm saying this my personal choice, what I would do. I don't obviously represent the face, or I don't represent the statement of Miss Illinois, because they say to pick whichever one you want. But me as your friend, Jess, I would say do teen. I wish I would have known about the Miss America opportunity earlier, and I would have been able to compete as a teen, because you get a mentor above you. You get a miss. So I have Miss Illinois' teen, Bella, and she's an absolute sweetheart. And before, my local title was Miss Quad City. So the Quad Cities up in Illinois and Iowa. And my Miss Quad Cities teen, Marley, I loved her so much. I love being able to mentor her and kind of show her the ropes of applying to college. So you get a lot of mentorship skills that you are able to kind of adapt and then be one day. So the teen program, phenomenal. I highly recommend starting in teen if you're able to. Other general requirements. I'm going to move this down here for me, actually. Maybe I can't. Okay, I can't here. Oh, crap. Sorry, that's me. You have to be a United States citizen, a female, single, and no legal dependents. So this means you can't have a child. There used to be a little stricter rules with that, so we kind of loosened it a little bit. And you have to meet the residency requirements. So the residency requirements are going to vary by competition, whether it's open or closed, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But most states have the same residency rules, where you have to live, work, or go to school in that state to qualify to compete there. and it'll break it down more in a document that you'll have to sign that'll say you have to live here for at least 30 days or something like that. So there's fine print to that, but pretty much if you qualify, you're in. So what is the competition? What are you competing for? There are 5 different categories. And then at the bottom, you're going to see something called opening number. And we'll get to that. I like to just put it on there to be complete. So this is kind of the run of show. The first part is your private interview. It's 30% of your score. And I say private interview because this is between you and the judges, and no one else will ever hear it. Everything you say in there is confidential to the judges, so you can really share your story. There are 2 pieces of paperwork you have to turn in, which we'll also go over those in a different session, so not to overwhelm you too much. Okay, so your 2 pieces of paperwork, they're literally just one-sided, one sheet. Your first is your CSI statement. That's the community service initiative I talked about earlier. And this is your platform where you're talking about what you want to do. So when I first started my first local competition, I won on my first try, and I didn't do a ton compared to what I'm doing now with my platform. So you don't have to have this huge elaborate platform where you're going out to Washington, D.C. every week and advocating. You can just be starting. And that is just as valuable to see on paper than someone who's been advocating for a cause for 10 years. So don't ever put yourself down, okay? So your CSI statement is going to talk about why you chose a social issue, why someone should care about it, really, why it's important to you, what you're planning to doing, and then if you've done some things, talk about those in there, and really just your plan of action, what you want to accomplish and what needs to be done. It's just one sheet. It's pretty easy to write. Your interview fact sheet is more like a resume. So it's actually pretty cut and paste. It's almost like a worksheet. You just fill it in. You don't have to worry about the templates and everything on that. You literally just fill in word for word your accomplishments. There's even a bucket list question. I think it's 3 or 5 things on your bucket list in the next 10 years. You'll put on there how you stay active because that's now part of the competition. So really anything that goes on a resume goes in your interview fact sheet, and those 2 pieces of paper get turned into the judges before you compete. They're able to read them over, and that's how they generate questions for you for your interview. So in the interview, they really just want to get to know you because they have a great job, which I would never want because it's so stressful. They have to pick the right girl for the job. So they just want to get to know you. They want to hear your opinions. They want to hear your heart. They want to hear your story. So when you start your interview, this goes for Miss and Teen, you have a 30-second opening statement. And this is something that I encourage people to do and talk about their community service initiative. And you really want to pull the judge's heartstrings here. You want to say, okay, this is why you should care about it. This is how it impacted me. Or you could tell your story. Say, this is what got me here today, and I'm so excited to be in front of you. You want to give them a story where they're just truly listening and intrigued, so that way they can start asking questions about it. After your opening statement, you have a 9-minute interview back and forth with the judges. It's really just a conversation you're having with your best friend by the end of it, and they're just as excited to be there as you are. At the end of the 9 minutes, the timer will cut you off. There is someone timing, and they'll cut you off. They'll cut a judge off. It doesn't matter. I've been cut off in the interview before because it's hit the 9-minute mark. The judges have been cut off. No one's offended by it. It's just wherever it falls, it falls. And then the miss only will have a 30-second optional closing. The teens are able to just leave at that point. But the miss you have the option, and I highly recommend taking it. So if there's something you didn't get to talk about in your interview that you really want to talk about, say it then, or maybe you just really want to let them know how excited you are to be here and that you're so thankful for it. Just use those 30 seconds however you see fit. Okay, then you have your evening gown, health and fitness, and talent/her story. They're all worth 20% of your score. And think about that, they're all equally weighted. So talent and evening gown are weighted the exact same. Okay, evening gown, I love to watch. It's about a 30-second walk on stage. They teach you the pattern which you walk on stage at the competition. So don't be freaked, no one goes in knowing the competition, walking pattern, all that. So you wear a gown of your choice. The first ever evening gown I wore in my local competition that I won was $100 on clearance at Peaches Boutique online. I ordered it, and I actually hemmed it with my grandma's old sewing machine, which broke in the middle of it. And so the end of the dress was not hemmed, only partially. And I didn't like heels at this point in my life. So I wore bejeweled sandals literally under the dress, and I still won. And I promise you, the confidence I had on that stage just exuberated out of me, and the judges loved it. They saw something. And that's what won over some girl with a very, very polished, beautiful dress that probably spent thousands of dollars on. So you can win by being yourself and being confident. And I know hundreds of $20 dresses that we'll talk about more so next week, and where to get a dress that's in your budget that makes you feel like $1,000,000. So don't be like, oh my gosh, I have to get a $5,000 dress to win. No, absolutely not. I've never competed in a $5,000 dress. That's not something you need. Health and fitness, that is new in the last year, and this is not a push-up competition. It is really similar to evening gown, but you're just wearing athletic attire. The athletic attire has to come from Rebel Athletics, and that is a little bit of a downfall, that we do have to order very specific activewear. It has to be the red color. So I put the website up here if you want to just look at it. If you are worried, I think a whole set is around $70 to $100, which is kind of steep. So if you're worried about the cost, definitely reach out to me or to the director of a local competition you're interested in, which I'll tell you how to reach out to them in a couple slides later. So, but just definitely keep that in the back of your mind. I do like that Rebel is very inclusive for all body types. So there are red jackets. Everything just has to be red. That's all it is. You just have to pick something red from the website. They have jackets, they have pants, they have joggers, they have long tank tops, they have skirts, they also have booty shorts, whatever you're most comfortable in. Go out there and rock it, because again, the confidence that you have on that stage saying, you know what, I love myself, the judges will see that. You go out there, you sell them, you tell them I love myself, and that's all they care about. So the health and fitness portion at the state level has a voiceover, and it's recorded by you. I know some of the locals may do this year, and all that voiceover is going to be is about 15 seconds, basically you saying how you stay fit. This is mental, physical, just your general well-being. Maybe you take a yoga class, maybe you meditate every day, you wake up every morning, you take a walk, you eat really healthy, whatever it is, make sure that you're able to not just tell that story, but live that life as well. So mental and physical are both really important there. Talent slash her story, also kind of a new alteration. We've always had talent. That's what's made the Miss America the Miss America competition. But her story is a new addition. So you have 90 seconds available for your talent performance, and you can use this however you want. I've seen girls do speed cubing. There's been speed painting as well. Obviously, the traditional dance, singing. I can't sing to save my life. Instruments. I love seeing instrumentalists. They're beautiful. You can have a backtrack to this. So the backtrack is, think about karaoke. It's the song playing behind you. So if you're a dancer, you can have that. The only thing with the backtrack is it cannot be playing the same instrument that you are. So, like when you sing in a car and you sound really great because you're singing over the vocalist, or just me because I can't sing. So you can't have the vocalist behind you or the same instrument. If you're playing violin, like you couldn't have a violin at the backtrack. So just keep that in mind. And if you're going, I don't have a talent, I can't sing, I can't play an instrument. Well, me neither. I can't sing or play an instrument. You do have a talent. You can tell your story, and that's what her story is. And there have been very powerful women who have taken a her story and won their state and then made it to Miss America. So a her story is basically telling your story. You can also do a monologue for your talent, which is where you're telling an original spoken word piece. But beautiful her stories have been talking about your life story, something really impactful that happened to you, telling, the push behind your platform, your community service initiative, whatever it is, you are welcome to use the whole 90 seconds to tell your story on stage. Girls that do a her story sometimes do have more instrumental music in the background too, to make it a little more impactful and to help keep them on the right time as well. Now, if you do need help with that, I know some individuals who do a her story for their talent, and they're phenomenal, and I know they'd love to help you. And I can also help you if you need that in my contacts at the end of this. So On-stage question. This is the last portion, and everyone is just as nervous for this as everything else. But I always tell people, don't be, because you know all the answers to every question someone will ask you. All these questions are going to be very open-ended questions. It's never going to be a yes, no, or tell me what is the most important part of oxidative phosphorylation. Like, it's not going to be that. It's an open-ended question. Typically, this is a follow-up from your interview. And that just means it's a question that one of the judges didn't get to ask you in your interview. So it's a question you already know because it's based on something you've done on your fact sheet. In Illinois, these questions are going to try to move to more about your community service initiative. So again, something you're passionate about and advocating for anyway, so you know the answer. And then lastly, just to be complete, I'm having the opening number on here. And the opening number is basically in the run of show. When you first get there, you first go on stage, you're going to introduce yourself, and you typically have a specific outfit you need to wear. And it's usually a black outfit, it could be a jumpsuit, a suit, a dress, romper, whatever you're comfortable in. So that is run of show, everything in the competition. And now, if you're like, you know what, I just want to take a leap of faith and I want to try it just once because I'm going to age out eventually, I should do it. And you should. That was my reasoning when I first signed up. So you will go to missamerica.org/sign up. And you will see this screenshot down here that I had with Miss America 2022, Emma Broyles. You'll scroll down and then you'll see the list of all the states. So if you're not in Illinois, I would follow the directions. It might be a little different than this, but you'll scroll down Illinois, click it, and then it'll appear as this information, which has the executive director's information and the website for where to compete. Go to missillinois.org, which is the website, and then find the local competition. So if you're not in Illinois, Alabama, Texas, wherever, if you are actually in Wyoming, send me a message. I will have to help you with that specifically. But you'll find the local competition tab and you'll find all the information. So I just took a screenshot of the first 3 that popped up. These are not the only 3 local competitions in Illinois. Our first local competition is actually this coming Saturday, and they will go to February 3rd. So they're kind of spread out. Go through, find a local competition you're interested in. So some of them say open, actually both these say open, but there's a difference between an open and a closed competition. An open competition just means anyone that meets the residency requirements. So you live, work, or go to school in the area, which our area is going to be Illinois. That means you qualify and you can compete as long as you meet all the other age and eligibility requirements. So if this were to say, actually, I think Chicago, actually Miss Cook County. So Miss Cook County is a closed title. And that just means only girls who live, work, or go to school in Cook County can compete for that title. So I believe Chicago is open. Chicago and Gold Coast, I believe those 2 are open. It'll say on the website to be exact, but so that means anyone can compete for Miss Chicago. Doesn't matter if you live down south in Southern Illinois like me, or if you're up there, anyone can be Miss Chicago, but typically more precise or more specific titles might be closed. They'll always say if they are, because, you know, again, down here in Carbondale, if I were to compete for Miss Cook County, they might want someone who lives in Cook County to be pretty close to do all the events as Miss Cook County. You know, it'd be harder for me to do it down here. So that's why they have open and closed ones. But once you find a competition you're interested in, send an email to the director. So introduce yourself, say you're interested in competing, and then I made a list of things that you might want to ask them. One, when is the paperwork due? So what is the deadline for that? What do you need to turn in the CSI, your Community Service Initiative statement, and your interview fact sheet? What do you need to wear for opening number? And are there any other forms? So any other forms would be like a code of conduct or something saying, you know, I will accept these terms as your new title holder if I were to win, anything like that. So you found your local. How do you actually say, okay, I'm in, I want to compete? And so you're going to go to club.missamerica.org/join page, and it'll bring you up to this giant list again. And when you're scrolling down, find your state, obviously. I think they're all going to bring you to the similar form. This form here, you're going to fill it out. For Illinois specifically, it wants you to put you don't have to, but I would suggest putting the local if you know which one you're interested in competing in, because then it'll send a note again to that director. And at the end of this, unless they change paperwork, they've gone back and forth a few times. I believe there is a portion at the bottom where you pay $40, and that just says, hey, you're in the Miss America organization. And once you're in, you can actually do a lot of cool networking things as well, even though you haven't competed yet. So you pay the $40 fee to kind of get you enrolled in the organization. And once you pay that fee, I suggest taking a screenshot, saving it, printing that, so that way you have a copy of it, and send that to the director just to make sure, hey, they have it, you have a copy as well. So that is really all I have for you today. But kind of to wrap up for next week, I'm going to be talking more about how to actually prepare. So I'm going to go into the interview fact sheet and the CSI statement. I'll have examples for you, where to access the paperwork. So that way you're able to see what should go in there, how it should be formatted. I'll make a checklist for the wardrobe so you can see what you need to bring, the time commitment, really just preparing everything. And then a few thoughts for next week, things that you should be thinking of if you're wanting to compete, what you'd be writing really on the accomplishments part of your interview fact sheet, because that is a huge portion that a lot of people, I mean, when I was writing mine for the first time, it's like, okay, what was everything cool I've ever done in my life? So just kind of get those wheels started again. Think about a platform you'd want for your community service initiative. Again, the main things are, why should other people care about this issue? Why is it important to me? And what would I do to advocate for it? Or what am I doing, that I can write about and talk about? So this is my contact information. If you guys have any further questions, I think there's a couple things in the chat. Oh, Rhiannon, I love you. I love you too. My talent that I did is actually color guard. So I'm the first woman to ever compete with a flag color guard performance at the Miss America National Competition this coming maybe December, January. They haven't announced it yet. So I'm really excited for that. How specific should the CSI be? It can be as specific as you want. So you can send me a private message if you want to talk more about that. So specifically with the CSI, I guess getting into it, you can really go as narrow as talking about one specific type of cancer you're advocating for. For me, I'm doing organ donation in general. Some people will look at mental health in homeless women, really as broad or as narrow as you need or want to be. But remember, you want to have a platform that can affect everyone. So maybe just talking about the mental health of math teachers in Illinois, that's really, really narrow. It is important. I just kind of came up with that one off the top of my head there, but you want to have something that is broad enough to where people are going to understand and want to help your initiative. Can you recompete for a title if you do not win the first time? Yes, you can. You can actually keep competing in local competitions until you win one. So the first one this coming Saturday is Miss Mississippi Crown, and that team, they give out, last year, they gave out Miss Mississippi Crown, Miss Western Illinois, and Miss Quad Cities. So I was Miss Quad Cities last year and I was on their team. And if I didn't win that one, I could compete the next weekend at the next competition and just keep going until I win one. This year, even if you don't win one afterwards, you can apply at large to compete at state. So you can just keep going until you win. Yeah, if there are any more questions, feel free to message me. And I really hope this was helpful. And if you're interested in competing, please let me know too. I will probably share this recording. I think it'd be easiest to post it on, oh, Natalie, sorry, question. I think it'd be easier for me to post it on YouTube, so it'll be up there. But if you want to see specific slides and stuff, I can send you guys the slides too if you need them. I was Miss O'Fallon, Illinois 2022. Do I still go through local like Miss Southern Illinois before Miss Illinois? Yes, you would. So if you are a county fair or a festival title holder, a current one, you can actually apply to be the festival or county fair title holder at Miss Illinois. That's a separate form you can fill out if you're currently going to have that through the Miss Illinois competition, which that competition week is, I believe, June 11th through 15th this coming year. So, but if you don't plan to hold that festival title, so when you have that festival or county fair title, that just carries over. You don't get assigned a team with Miss Illinois. You just keep doing what you're doing, and then you compete at Miss Illinois essentially. But I would recommend actually going through a local and getting the whole experience with the Miss America opportunity, and then getting the whole team behind you too. So I believe that's all we have for tonight, unless anyone has any more questions. But again, I'm always here. You guys can reach out at any point in time. And I hope this was helpful and you are maybe interested in joining the Miss America opportunity. So have a great night, guys. I'm glad you came. Thank you.